Yo guys, what's going on? Robert Warshack here, and we have the best decks to play on ladder right now. Just a couple days ago, we did get the most recent balance patch, which changed a lot of the most popular cards and a lot of the best decks in the game. Looking at Rogue, looking at Priest, looking at Renathal, a lot of these decks took a massive hit, and the meta is still shaping out, but these decks right now are the ones that are standing out the most for sure. We've played a lot of games the past 2 days, and these are the decks that just seem really good. First one is going to be the Thief Concoction Rogue. So Rogue has like Death Rattle Rogue, it had Miracle Rogue, and then it had like this Thief Concoction Rogue. And this is one of the only Rogue decks, again, that did not get nerfed. There was no cards in this deck that got changed. The concoctions remained untouched, and the Thief package, as we know, is one of Rogue's stronger packages going into this expansion. So what happened was we took out the secrets, we kept in the jackpots and all that, but we now also have the concoctions, which give this deck a lot more early game, and allows it to kind of have blowouts, not only with the jackpot itself, but with the concoctions themselves, which are very low mana, very high value cards. There's a lot of fantastic stuff, like the Ghoul in here, which again, your next concoction costs 0, regardless if you play it this turn or in the following turns, which is just kind of insane. We also have the new Shadow of Demise, which can copy your last spell, which it can be concoctions, or it could just be a big powerful spell, like Contraband Stash or anything you get off jackpot. So super good card here, and Concoction Thief Rogue is looking very, very good. Moving down to a Paladin deck. For those of you who think I hate Paladin, I really don't. I only hated Libram Paladin. I think pure Paladin is a lot of fun, and we actually had a lot of fun building this rendition here. This is what we had on day 1/day 2 of the new expansion, and it's kind of just been the list that we've stuck with. It does very, very good. The meta list that you're going to see has a couple cards off. I don't think they run Cariel or Leviathan, but I found that these cards are just super good because your early game is strong enough to live towards the late game. So if you want to play like the super high-end aggro version, you can, but I myself prefer decks that don't just blow themselves out on turn 6 or 7 and then can do nothing after that. I like a little bit more go in my juice, you know what I'm saying? So very good deck. It runs the pure package because the one of the win cons, not the main one, but a win con is the Countress with the legendary tickets. You also run the new Seal of Blood card with the Vindicator, so you can Vindicator, hit that, or you can hit Order in the Court. Also runs the new legendary minion because we have a lot of hand buffs with stuff like the Prismatic Jewel Kit, the Banner Man, and the Seafloor Savior. Buffing this card and then playing other cards means that other cards are going to be able to have Divine Shield and Rush, which is actually just massive and super annoying for most decks to deal with. And ways to create minions from this is from the Sinful and stuff like Buffet, and just basically any minion you play. That card's going to synergize with it. And then Class Action Lawyer. It doesn't look that flashy, but this card actually is just neutralizes any big minion your opponent plays for 2 mana. And most of the time, this card itself is even buffed. So really good card here. Deck performed really well and flows extremely nice together. And very, very fun, very different. And if you like Paladin and you like a more aggressive mid-range style of deck, the legendary tickets are a fantastic time. And all of these decks that we're going over, if I have a video for them, I will put it in the description as well. I know we have pure Paladin. This Evolved Shaman that we're about to go over is what we hit Legend with this season with like an 80-something% win rate. Ramp Druid we have a deck for, and the Frozen or Frost DK we have a list for as well. So Evolved Shaman. Didn't expect this to be the deck that did so well for us this season. We were having a hard time with like Blood DK just because it wasn't before the nerfs, and everything else like Miracle Rogue and Priest were just so good. But this deck really stood out. It was insane because of Primordial Wave mainly. Your opponent goes crazy, your Primordial Wave, and it's less crazy. But it does have blowout turns with the Goldchild Null and the Schooling with the Muck Pool. So you can get like that guy out on turn like sometimes as early as 2 or 3, and then evolve them into like a 10-10 with Lifesteal or a 12-12 or an 8-8 with Wind Fury. So Null can just blow games out with Muck Pools. It also could just turn itself into another Null, which is really bad. You do run Tiny Toys and a bunch of cards that allow you to make a bunch of minions on the board, which is why Double Bloodlust is super good. You have a ton of ways to generate minions, so Sea Giants are super good. The deck just really flowed. I know it looks really awkward, and you're like, what the hell is this like just monstrosity you have here? But this deck just blew people away. This was the deck exactly, card for card, that we hit Legend with this season, and we went like 20-4 or 18-3, or it was some ridiculous win rate to Legend with this deck here. So while it does look goofy, this deck was exceedingly powerful and killed people very, very, very early, especially if they were druids. This deck blew druids out of the water. So if you like the Pokemon or evolved shaman, it's good stuff. Got Ramp Druid here. So Ramp Druid did recently get nerfed. They changed a nub to gain 8 armor. Your next 3 minions this turn cost armor instead of mana. But this didn't actually fix the card. This card does exactly the same thing it does, where they go Bran, a nub, and then Astalar. I don't know what these changes were supposed to do, or like we were looking for the future, or they just maybe they thought 3 minions was enough. But this deck remains unchanged. It's still just as good. And it has everything it had before, plus another OTK within it with Astalar, along with all of the other just madness it can do with Topior, Sire Denathrius, Raid Boss, Insatiable Devour, a million armor game, plus 20 mana. So Ramp Druid, in my opinion, remains absolutely untouched, and it is the best deck, as we can going over in this video, that exists. I mean, the only way to stop this deck is if you kill it before it does what it's supposed to do. But most of the time, druids have like 20 mana before you have 4. So it's kind of hard to win when your opponent is they just have so much of everything and you have nothing. So druid, absolutely insane, and it is looking super juiced. Moving to a DK deck. Yes, I know, a DK deck that's on our best decks. Lol, Rob, you're kidding. No, this deck is actually the nuts. I'm going to pull up stats just so you don't think I'm crazy. Here's our final rendition of the deck list here that we played yesterday and climbed 3,000 ranks with. We were 20-3 at an 87% win rate with this exact deck. And then all the deck testings with this deck and all the iterations of it before I opted to keep it same list is 42-23 here at the 65% win rate. So we've played a lot of Hearthstone, a lot of Frost DK, a lot of iterations of this deck, and this is the final list that I've come to that I posted up. And this list, in my opinion, is the best, one of the best DK lists that you can play right now. It just has so much burst. The core of the deck is, of course, to hit the Remy. Then you have some early game minions to put some pressure, like Winter or Death Chiller. And then from your mid game, it's pretty much like Ice Revenants, which I know is super silly, like Rob, the Ice Revenants are meme. No, if you don't kill an Ice Revenant, the Ice Revenant kills you. This card's actually nuts. This card actually got nerfed before DK came out because of Frost DK. It used to give +2/+2, and they actually changed it to +1/+1 before the expansion released, and no one has tried it. And I was like, well, they nerfed this card for a reason. It had to be good. Bro, this card is nuts. This card is actually insane in Frost DK. If left on check, you basically have a 10-10 the following turn. Like, easy. From there, you have, of course, the Lady in the Room, Merciless Winter stuff with the Big Bang, Frostwyrm's Fury. But yeah, mid-game of this deck, incredibly scary. Just get this Rimfang scored, start discounting stuff, and kill your opponent with just 1,000,000 damage from face. We're going to be posting up a lot of videos on this Frost DK, so don't worry if you don't see it yet. By the time I post this video, there will be hours and hours and hours of Frost DK and us climbing 2,000, 4,000 ranks with this deck. So that should be really exciting. But yeah, Frost DK, super fun. Blood DK and Unholy, hopefully coming soon. We'll see how powerful those are. But this just stood out to me as like the best. With that, if there's any deck that you think I left out or you would like to add or is an up-and-comer, let me know in the comment section below. But these are the standout decks from playing a lot, as you can see, a lot of games with the decks since the balance patch. We've been streaming a lot and having a good time with it and climbing a lot too. So with that, of course, guys, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. I'm Robert Warshack. Happy whatever the hell day it is.